Hello and welcome to AZ in the Circle, Arizona Softball Podcast. We have Kelsey Hall, the Sun Devil, here in the house today at Club Farrington. Welcome.
Hello, I'm happy to be here. Finally, nice to meet in person.
Yeah.
Get to chat it up.
Yeah, I'm super excited to interview this grad student who's, this is your 10th year playing for ASU?
It's actually my 12th, thank you.
Yeah, no, but we're so excited that you came back for your grad student year.
Thank you.
Yep. And that you're healthy.
Yep, working towards it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Healthy enough to, get in the lineup and make your thing, make it happen.
Exactly.
Yep.
Speedy recovery.
Yep. Yeah, it's real speedy recovery. It's really only been, what?
8 months.
8 months, yeah.
For context, everybody, I tore my second ACL in the last game of season last year against UCLA. But it's going good. We're doing great. ASU's provided me phenomenal resources, and we should be ready right at opening weekend.
Yep. A testament to your hard work. Dig it in, because those rehabs are not easy if you want to get back quickly.
Character development, to say the least.
Okay. Yeah, so we thought we'd ask a few questions. Recap your season, some of your best memories, and then, hey, how did fall ball go? And then your recruiting journey, which is a little different than the typical recruiting journey because
everyone in college
softball. Yours is totally different now because you were one of the ones that it was back in 8th grade then, correct?
Yep, absolutely. That's when everyone could start being recruited. All the Power 5 schools were coming out when we had barely just made it to high school.
Oh, my gosh. So. Okay. And then I guess knowing what you know now, seeing your teammates come through, what would you say about the current college softball recruiting process?
Yeah,
ask you that.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
And then all your wisdom, being here. So much of it. What were your personal keys to success?
All righty, let's get into it.
All right. So your best memory on the field 2024 season.
I think this one is an easy one for the team. It was Ohio State game, night game. I think we might have played 13 innings almost. It felt like a lifetime of a game. We were going in. Ohio State's a great program, so we were really excited to play them for the night game. And we were just going back and forth. I think we were getting our butts kicked in the beginning, and then we just started chipping away, and it was like, oh, we can do this. And then so we just go back and forth, back and forth. There were 2 at-bats I had where I hit 2 balls to the right field wall. And everyone, you can hear the crowd go, oh, but someone would score, right? Yeah. So it was literally like they would score one, we would score one. And then Sarah Kinch won it all with a grand slam. I think in the bottom of the 13th or something like that. And it was absolutely electric. One of my favorite moments at Club Farrington.
Yeah. At Tiny Window, when we interviewed her before you, she said the same thing.
Yeah, it was electric. It was one of the craziest because at my previous schools, we've played Ohio State before. At Fresno State, my freshman year, we had them as a night game, and they're always just bring a little chip. So Ohio State fires you up too. They'll talk a little bit to you, so then naturally we're like, oh, we're winning, we're winning. So it was a really cool. I think that was a turning point for our team where it was like, you know what? It doesn't matter who comes in. If we play us, well, it'll be a great game.
And where was that game played?
It was here.
It was here?
It was here.
Okay, so how was the clubhouse afterwards?
Oh, it
nuts.
It was electric. That probably goes down as one of my favorite memories off of the field for sure, too. We have our win song. We always dance. Everyone's jumping up and down, embracing like we just won the World Series. And we just were celebrating each other. It didn't matter whether you went 0 for 6 because of how many at-bats everyone had or you were Sarah Kinch, everyone. It was just a really wholesome celebration.
That's great. That's what I call those forever moments.
Exactly.
You take them with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, we got some pretty cool pictures there. Our media went in, so I have a great picture I'll have to show you of me and Sarah Kinch hugging, and I think I'll definitely frame it in my very big wall of college softball because I have so many years of playing.
Yes, Casey, when we get that
all
picture,
the memories.
We'll put it up for our
you got it.
Watchers, our viewers to see. Okay, and then perfect. That brings us into you had fall ball. You heard about the freshmen that were coming in that were some ballers. Tell us about your teammates, how that the freshmen with the veterans, how the team gelled together. Give us a little insight on how fall ball went.
I think it went really well. Obviously, as I mentioned before, I wasn't able to participate on the field, unfortunately, for my last fall season. But these girls were fun to watch in the fall games and every day at practice. Everyone was really eager coming into this year. Obviously, I wasn't sure of when I'd be able to play or if I was going to be able to play after my injury, but Coach B just spoke so highly of that freshman class and our transfers that I knew whether I was going to be a part of it or not, that those girls would take care of the program. So it was really exciting to see them and to still see them continue to develop. Every day is a learning day with everyone being so young. It's an insanely young team. And, going into it, you think there would be an extreme gap as far as in maybe friction a little bit as I'm turning 24 and some of these girls just turned 18. But with that being said, everyone, it's almost like they take that as a challenge to want to understand each other. And when you walk into the locker room, you wouldn't know the difference of how old anyone is. Everyone collaborates, communicates, and it's a cool place to be.
Yeah. Have some of the girls ask you questions, hey, how you do this? Or
Yeah, for sure. Luckily I got the opportunity to still be in a leadership position despite being hurt, despite these girls not knowing how I play unless they were returners, which was, I think, 6 returners. So still not many knew what I was about, in a sense, unless they watched on TV. So luckily, I was able to help build the experience and the understanding and the culture still off of the field, too. So I was really grateful to be able to do that, thanks to my teammates.
That's a lot of respect given to you for you to be in that leadership position, and you thinking, wow, that's great. That's a kudos to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
What about okay, now your recruiting journey, yours is definitely different. I love to hear it. How'd you end up finally at ASU? Take us through the whole journey if you want.
Yeah, everybody grab your popcorn since it's been quite the years of journeys. No, I'm just kidding. So like we mentioned before, I was one of those recruits that as soon as you were in 14U, you would see every top 5 program at all the Huntington Beach tournaments. This is when PGF was still a thing. It still is, but now they have Alliance and stuff. So PGF, all those SoCal tournaments were it. That's where you wanted to be. But so I actually committed to University of Oregon as literally as soon as you could. My freshman year of high school, they were my dream school. Jimmy Kalidas was my main connection there. He was an amazing coach. Chelsea Spencer, Mike White. It was my dream. Everything about Oregon growing up. And then, so my junior year, I decommitted. Plans didn't exactly go as pictured, which
your junior year of high school.
Junior year of high school, yes, correct. Because then my junior year of high school, at that point, all the schools I wanted to go to had no money because everyone committed when they were in 8th grade, freshman year. So it was, where am I going to go? Where am I going to be valued? And what is going to be the right spot for me? So I was actually talking to a Mountain West school, and they were playing at Fresno State. And my dad was like, you should probably email them. You're going to be there anyways. I was like, really? Nah. Okay, I'll do it. And then somehow I sent this email to the volleyball coach, and in my header it said prior University of Oregon commit, and the coach sent it to the Coach Schultz and said, you might want to look at this. I think this is of interest to you. And then so they put me on a little visit, unofficial visit after their game, which I just thought spoke volumes about how intentional they were with me. So I committed to Fresno State, played there 2 years. My freshman year was COVID. We were on our way to Boise State, actually, our first conference weekend when we were in the Seattle airport when the world shut down. If anyone remembers that, it was the craziest thing. They were like, okay, you're canceled for the weekend, 2 weeks, your season's suspended. Oh, actually, you guys are done. It was all.
And you were in Seattle.
Yeah, we were just sitting in the airport, the hot spot of COVID at the time, too. We're like, what is going on?
How'd you get home?
Well, it was actually kind of funny. The 2 airplanes, if you've been to the Seattle airport, all the different gates, the one right next to it was Boise and the other one was Fresno. And we were all like, next time. But then, so that was that. And then, so we were one of 5 universities that weren't allowed to be on campus in the fall. So that was a lot of off-campus training with one of my good friends, Haley Dulcini, All-American at Texas. I got to spend.
She was at Fresno State at one of those years with you there.
Yeah, so we were just training together, and then we showed up at springtime, played our first weekend, and went really well against UCLA. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be my year, because I hit a $120 maybe my freshman year, because I was just struggling, didn't know college softball hit me like a truck, but we were a top 25 program, so it was pretty great. And then that very first practice, very first ball I got, I blew out my ACL. So I remember thinking, am I ever going to play softball? Why is this not happening? So then
that was the so you had your COVID year, they stopped it.
Yeah.
And then the next year
I blew out my knee.
So right off the bat,
got my
2 years.
Yeah, my 2 years of eligibility. That's why I'm still here as a 6th year.
Okay.
So, and then at that point, the program was just taking a different page. So I decided at that point, I was like, maybe this is my sign that I'm not meant to be at Fresno State. I have all my years back. This is a risky bet, but let's see where the wind takes me. Went into the portal. Justin Schultz, he had just became a head coach at Boise State. And I got the opportunity to be his first recruit out of the portal. And he was the one that recruited me to Fresno State. And he was the main reason why I wanted to go there. He's the hitting coach, great human being, great at his job. So then I spent 2 years there, had a great experience at Boise State. I have nothing but good things to say about them. I got my undergraduate degree there. And I remember, to be honest, we had great 2 years, and we were bubbled teams, but we never made it. And I remember sitting there watching postseason, and I was like, I want to I have 2 years left. Why not see what happens, take my talents. I want to go play Power 5. It was always my dream as a kid. It was always my dream to play in the Pac. Let's bet on myself a little bit. Let's take these 2 years and see where I can go. So that's why I ended up in the portal. Again, great things to say about Boise State. They're doing amazing things with that program still to this day. And I got the opportunity to visit some SEC schools, some Big 12. Well, now we're Big 12 too, but some Big 12 schools. Yeah. And I got to talk to some coaches where I was like, holy crap, you know my name, Yeah. Being in the portal that second time was such a humbling experience. And then Coach K, as he was here last year, he was the first person to text me when I was in the portal, and he texted.
That's like a full circle moment, right? From eighth grade year.
Exactly. He texted me and he said, "Yo," and his contact was still Coach K, U of O. I was like, "Uh-oh, here we go."
Yeah.
But we just started talking. I said respectfully, "I need to talk to your head coach." Obviously, that's where all the conversations need to be had. I already know. I love you, Coach. I've loved you since I was a little kid. Let me see what Coach B's about. I remember she cold called me. And I was just like so nervous. And when I'm a pretty passionate person, and when I get really passionate, I talk really loud. My best friends have always told me, and my roommate said she could hear me from upstairs. She said it sounded like I was talking to my best friend from years ago. And just from that moment, I was really intrigued by her, because I was like, she is going to make me the woman I want to be, not even just a softball player. And I took a visit after this was my last visit I took in that initial wave, and I got to meet Jordan Van Hook, a couple other girls here, and I was like, I could see this. My dad fell in love with the place as well.
And what time of the year was it when you came?
It was the summer. It was July.
All right.
Yeah, so
you know the real deal.
Yeah, I knew what I was getting into.
Okay.
It was actually really cool. Was Alicia Denby here last year? We went on our visit together, and we played at Fresno State together. Okay. So she had committed, and I was like, wait a minute. Maybe I want to commit too now. And so it was just a kind of a no-brainer. Club Farrington. At Boise State, we played here as well for a preseason tournament. And I was like, wow, this place is just amazing. Yep. And so I fell in love, and now here we are.
Yeah, that's great. That's a fantastic story.
Yeah, I told you get your popcorn. It was going to be a long one, guys.
Yeah, and then even since you've been here, they've done great things here at Club Farrington. I think you got a new locker room.
Oh, it's amazing. Jackie Lappin, the Lappins have done absolutely wonders for our program, along with our other donors. We're so thankful for everything. We have every pitching machine you can think of. Our head tracks is up. Our locker room's unbelievable. We got 2 refrigerators.
Yeah.
So,
and does it have a bunch of protein in it?
Oh yeah, we got plenty of protein, plenty of good snacks. We're here all the time, so you will never go hungry here. So,
and Jackie she's a former player, big time player.
Exactly. That's something that I thought was so cool, because Boise State was a super young program. I think it started in 2008. So to come here to Club Farrington and all the alumni and just people that we have Katie Burkhardt around. Dallas Escobedo came out and threw to us. So you're just surrounded by success, and you know that that's the culture that's expected here, which is really cool.
That's awesome. Well, I'm thinking that you guys are set up for a great opportunity to make a run.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited to have you back. So I wish you the best of luck. And then we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with, we're going to hear from Polaris PT, our sponsor.
At Polaris PT and Wellness, we believe that movement is medicine. We believe that as an athlete, you should be performing at the highest level. And so we deliver performance-driven solutions to get you back out onto the field faster. So give us a call at 480-808-4995 or reach out to us through our website, www.polarisptphx.com, where movement is medicine.
And we're back. Thank you, Brig, with Polaris PT out in Queen Creek. Matter of fact, speaking of Queen Creek, you have a super fast player from Queen Creek High School. Yeah, tell us about her. When did you notice how fast she was?
So actually, we were working at camp last year, and she was one of the girls at the camp. And I remember going up to Coach B, and I said, I really like her. I need her to be my teammate. Just because not only was she pitching and infielder, she's actually switched over to being a lefty this year. Fun fact. And
do you take advantage of the speed even
take
more?
Advantage of the speed and all those things. But she's just a great human being. I just gravitated towards her. We have a lot in common, and she just seems like I said, a great human. And so that, I think, was kind of not because of me, but I might have helped her a little bit. I always say that to her all the time, be like, don't forget.
And then you're thinking to yourself, I need a pinch runner.
Yeah, exactly. Like, seriously, I need you. It was coming to fruition. Exactly. Yeah. Little did I know. But she's amazing. She's athletic. She's in the infield and the outfield, slapping. I was like, I commend you. I don't think if someone would have asked me to switch to a lefty at the collegiate level, I would have looked at them with like they had three eyes.
Wow.
So she is unbelievable. Not only a great athlete, but a great human.
Super. So thanks, Break. See, you brought up, gave us a reason to talk about Corey.
Point.
Yep. And then, okay, so our last two questions here. Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self about the college softball recruiting process in general? Since it's your junior year, not your 8th grade year, but what's your takeaway from it?
Right. Obviously, I'm not really familiar with the anticipation of September 1st, but from what I hear, it can be either a really great experience or a really scary experience. And what I would say is it'd be really easy, I think, to pull the trigger on something that the name seems cool, the label seems awesome, but the right program will let you take the time to understand who they are, their ins and outs, and not just their facilities, not just their uniforms. When you're a collegiate athlete, your entire life is the program you choose, and that chooses you. So I think you really need to emphasize that you need to choose their culture, you need to choose their people, you need to choose their morals and their values, because at the end of it, hopefully you don't have 6 years of softball like I do. But after the 4 years, this is the most forming time of your life. So you need to take the time to understand who you want to be as a human outside of what you want to accomplish as a softball player.
Yeah. They might get 6 years if this new NCAA, the Pavia from Vanderbilt, the quarterback, how he got that extra year.
Yeah, I guess I'm not original, huh?
No, yeah.
Well, last year, that was a 6 year. I'm just trying to follow in her footsteps.
Yes. So we'll see if that happens. We'll keep an eye on that. Yes. That's supposed to be decided here shortly as far as will it apply to all JUCO players.
Right.
Okay, and then the last question. What are your personal keys to success, Kelsey?
My collegiate career has been full of a lot more bumps and bruises than I would have ever thought or have expected. I was a kid that I never really always passed the eye test. If you would have looked at me, you would never think I was a power hitter and all those things. So for me, and then when I got hurt, it was always I had to work really hard to be who I wanted to be. So after my first ACL, I think the way that I was able to come back from it was recognizing that I need to value the process more than my results. I'm actually in a little bit of a time of having to remind myself of that, because going through it again, I think reliving the experience of giving yourself grace within the process. And especially in a game of failure, you have to learn to celebrate the little victories and always find a victory. Yes, we can be really result oriented, but for me, I have to hold myself accountable to be process oriented. And whether it was 3 really bad at bats my first couple times back, at the end of the day, I'm one step closer to being who I want to be and being the athlete I want to be. So being process-oriented, holding myself accountable to give grace, and leaving no excuses, controlling what I can control as far as work-oriented.
That's great. You recapped her own keys to success. Usually I repeat them back.
Once or twice.
You've done it okay. It was good. I love it. Hold yourself accountable. Give yourself grace. And the first one was trust the process.
Yeah.
Work the process.
Yeah, control.
Not results.
Control. Yeah. Because in this game, you get hurt, you don't start, you do all those things. You have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I control what I can control. I put the work in. I put in the time. That's all you can do. because there's, like I said, this is your life. It might feel like a drama series at times, but it's becoming who you want to be.
Wow. I think we just found our first guest host for next season after you're done with the career.
I'll be here.
Love for you to host one of our shows and interview some of the talented girls we have out here in Arizona.
Yes, we have many of them, so you just let me know.
Okay, sounds good. Well, hey, I'm Javier with AZ in the Circle, Arizona Softball Podcast. Thank you, Kelsey, for joining us. Best of luck this season.
Thank you.
And if
Bye,
you like,
guys.
if you like what you saw, please subscribe and like us. Thank you.